You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
I'm Smiley the dog. I am a mutt. I'm Smiley the dog. I'm super smiley. I have a cat, too sweet, the travel kitty. I have a good girlfriend, Angel's really pretty. I have a pony and we share a big horse. We have a big yard. Yeah, we have to, of course. I have a pool. In the summer I stay cool. To a fountain, live in the mountain, live high on the hog. Need to be a spokesdog. I'm Smiley the dog. I am a mutt. I'm Smiley the dog. I'm super smiley.
Woof and Super Smiles. Welcome to a Super Smiley adventure on Pet Life Radio, the largest pet radio network in the world. I'm Megan Blake, here with my giant mutt sidekick, Super Smiley, spokesdog for throwaways. And we are especially excited today about our guest because she embraces and lives the values of rescue, how dogs are healers, how they teach us, and how they can and do save lives. Shari Duval is the founder and director of K-9s for Warriors, a very unique service dog school that serves our United States veterans who are just returning from the Middle East. And Shari, we honor what you do so much, and we welcome you to our show.
Well, hi, Megan, and thank you so much for having us. We're delighted to be on your show.
And I want everyone to know that I had the honor and great pleasure of visiting K-9s for Warriors in Florida, and I want to describe this. It's what I would call a compound in a beautiful rural setting in Florida with almost mystical-looking tropical canopy of trees, and there's the feeling of being surrounded by water, and the emotional resonance was one of groundedness and of being safe. And I know, Shari, that you create that atmosphere, and I imagine that your dogs help to create that feeling as well.
Well, that is what we try to achieve. I love the way you described it. We do, when the warriors come there, we do hope that they feel at home, because that's how we try to make it feel to them, at home, away from home.
Yes, and it felt like I said the word safe. It felt like a sanctuary. I like that word, a sanctuary that's a home away from home. And one of the very unique ways that K-9s for Warriors works is that your warriors live on your compound for weeks and train the dogs themselves. Now let's take a quick break, and Smiley and I want to hear how you do it and how the dogs do what they do. Smiley, can you wait? Good boy.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
I'm Smiley the dog. I'm Super Smiley. Must rock.
Petco, where the pets go. Petco, where the pets go.
Pet Life Radio has tail-wagging, fur-flying, fabulous deals for our listeners from Petco. Get $6 off your order of $60 or more, and up to 40% off the entire Petco site. That's right. But that's not all. Because you're a Pet Life Radio listener, you'll also get free shipping on your order of $49 or more. $6 off, up to 40% off, and free shipping from Pet Life Radio and Petco. To get these awesome deals, go to PetcoDeals.com. That's PetcoDeals.com.
Petco, where the pets go.
I'm not much of a reader, but I do wish I were more well-read.
There are so many great books coming out. I wish I could find a way to keep up.
Audible.com makes it easy to stay well informed and catch up on your reading simply by listening. Audiobooks from Audible turn downtime into uptime. You'll be more productive and become well read.
Now I'm able to catch up on all the great books I've been wanting to read.
With Audible, I feel smarter.
Pet Life Radio listeners, try Audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listener Gold membership plan free. And get a free audiobook. Choose from over 100,000 titles. To get this great deal, go to audibledeals.com. That's audibledeals.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
And we're back on a Super Smiley adventure on Pet Life Radio with Shari Duval, founder and director of K-9s for Warriors. Shari, your program is quite unique in that the warriors live on site and each person trains his or her dog to be their lifeline. Let's start with this sort of as a concept. What you do is it's a huge undertaking and responsibility. How did you decide that this was going to be the best way to do it?
Well, Megan, my own son completed 2 tours in Iraq as a independent bomb dog handler. And when he came home, he suffered from posttraumatic stress disorder, and we really weren't quite sure what that term was, and we learned very quickly. And out of 500,000 casualties of war, 1 in 5 of our wonderful military veterans suffers from what they call PTSD. And 1 in 6 will actually attempt or commit suicide. And we found that service dogs, K-9 therapy, has a marked improvement on these symptoms. So what started out as an effort to help my own son blossomed into a mission to help as many others as we could too.
I love that. And so I was wondering how you came about having the warriors live there and train their own dogs. And I guess it's what you just said. You were, obviously your son was there with the dogs, and you were able to observe this relationship and see how it worked. So it was sort of like hands-on training for you and everybody, right? Initially.
Yeah, it actually was initially. And when we started, I didn't even know if I could get my first warrior. I thought, how am I going to get them? And, God just provides. And now we've graduated. In 1 year, we've graduated 30 veterans through our program. And the K-9 therapy, which these are real service dogs, because they live there with us, they train, a part of their recovery is to train their own dog.
Right.
Even though they're trained prior to their getting there, now it's their job and responsibility to take care of their dog and learn how to train it themselves. And that actually brings them out of the isolation and the depression that they find themselves in. So it's working phenomenally.
That makes so much sense, Shari. It's so simple and so logical. Often the smartest things are the simplest and most obvious. That, like you said, you give them dogs that are already basically trained, but for them to train the dog specifically for them, to tailor the dog for them, it becomes more interactive. And I would imagine that would even increase their bond. Is that true?
Oh, there's no question about it, Megan. Our dogs are all rescue dogs, by the way, and they are kenneled until they are placed with their warrior. So when they come in with the warrior and they come into our home, which, like I said, we house 3 to 4 warriors at a time, the dog is so excited to be in the home, be with someone. It's really not rocket science, but the warrior becomes instantly bonded without exception to the animals that we have selected for them. And they've been prepared. They know they're coming, and we talk to them a lot before they get there. And then they start the bonding process. We encourage the dogs to sleep with them and lay on the couch with them. They have to, obviously feed them, walk them, take care of them, groom them. And then we start the 3 weeks of very intensive training with their own dogs. But the training is as much for the warrior as it is for the dog. The dog has already been trained. Now it's the warrior's turn to just completely step out of their the element, the past that they've been living in, and we like to think that they're stepping into their future.
I love that. I love that you have so much positive imagery. It is no surprise to me, Shari, that your program is so successful with you leading it. I really love your spirit. And I want to go back to what you mentioned. You very quickly said that all of your dogs are rescued. They're all shelter dogs. And so many service training programs, they use certain breeds. But when I was there, I saw all different kinds of dogs. You go right for the shelter dogs and strays. Tell us how that's working.
Well, we didn't start out that way, to be honest with you. But someone under surrender one day dropped off an absolutely beautiful dog. And I went, why? Why are we even attempting to go to a certain breed or a certain... that theory lasted about a week. And we started going to local shelters, of which we've become friends with nearly all of them now. They know the type of breed we're looking for, the type of temperament. We use mostly labs and golden retrievers, but we've had labradoodles, golden doodles, all sorts of mix. People say, well, what is that dog? And we go, he's a service dog. That's what
Absolutely. That's right. That's it, because that's where their spirit is. They are service dogs. I love that. And these dogs, they're all so intelligent. When they've been through hard times or they've been abandoned or even just relinquished after living in a home, I mean, that still, I would think, would be a trauma for the dog. Do you feel that these rescue dogs have an added empathy or bond with the warriors because they have been rescued? What do you think about that?
Oh, I think there's no question about it. And sometimes we look at the warrior and we'll say, who rescued who? Did the dog rescue the warrior or did the warrior rescue the dog? I mean, it's a match made in heaven for both of them because they've both been through such trauma. trauma that neither you or I could understand. Abandonment, loneliness, depression, anxiety, all the emotions that we hope that we never have to experience on our worst nightmares. And the dogs have gone through it too. So when they're paired together, they're healing each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, we've definitely touched on this already. When the warriors arrive at your facility, they've been through war. They've been through things that we cannot even imagine. And you mentioned the post-traumatic stress. Is it apparent? This is going to sound like a really silly question, but most of us have never been at a place where warriors are coming right from the Middle East with post-traumatic stress, and they're arriving right in our homes, essentially. What's that like, Shari? What was that like the first few times you experienced that? I imagine you didn't really know what to expect, right?
Well, I had a little experience of it with my son, but I can tell you this, that out of the entire 3-week program and the year that we have gone through, and we've had a 100% success rate, that is my most special day out of the whole time, is when they arrive, because they arrive with a complete shield around them. They're very guarded. Most of them come really and truly thinking, this is my last hope. This is my last resort. And to watch them blossom and to come out of their shell and to step into their future. I always say they come in on 2 legs and they leave on 6.
Oh, Shari, I love that. I love that. I love it.
It's just the most beautiful thing you could ever see. And most people, they're so blessed that they can see one miracle in their lifetime. I see them every day. And that's what the blessing of this is. You watch people that have defended our freedom and our country and the horrific problems that they had in war. My last class, for example, I had a Marine, a recon Marine. He was shot 9 times on 3 different occasions. 9 times. Right. And he received 3 Purple Hearts. And, of course, when he came in, he was as hard as an oak tree. And he was like a Hershey's kiss when he left.
Oh, what a transformation, a whole life, a spirit transformation almost, right?
An entire transfer. He'll never forget what he went through, but he was able, through the love of this dog and the program, to be able now to go out and say, okay, there is a future for me. There is a life for me, and I can do it with my new battle buddy.
Wow. I love all these phrases you have. My new battle buddy. It's a new life buddy, moving from 2 legs to 6 legs. Shari, it's just amazing. And I'm wondering, do your warriors gravitate to their particular dog? Does the dog choose them? Do they choose the dog? Or do you evaluate everyone and assign them? How does that work? Because it's so intimate.
95% of the time, we have chosen the dog for them prior to them getting there. We do a very careful evaluation on the warriors. We talk to them, not only our application, they're very well vetted, because we have the security and the safety of the dog to take into account for as well.
Of course.
It's a big responsibility. So we have a very good feel for their personalities and somewhat what they've been through. We ask them, do you live in a condo? Do you have children? Do you travel? What are your likes, dislikes, etc.? And do you have a preference on a dog? Do you want a small dog, a big dog, etc.? So we have a pretty good feel for what dog and of course when you place them, you just hope for the best. And I would say we've only had 2 that we had to change dogs out on. The bond was not there. You could see it the minute it happened. And we did have to make the change. But we have backup dogs just for that reason.
Right. Oh, I'm sure that you are able to make the perfect matches. And that's one thing that's great about dogs and humans, but especially with animals, is that they're so honest and they're so clear in their communication. And if the bond is not there, you were able to see it and make the switch immediately to a perfect bond, I would imagine. And, that's one of the lessons that Smiley and I were often sharing here, that we are their leaders. We're the animals' leaders, but if we're open to where they lead us, they will always take us on amazing adventures. And in your case, they lead the people back into life. And it's just, it doesn't get any better than that, does it?
No, it really doesn't, Megan. And, a lot of the warriors that we see, I would say all of them actually, would tell you they would rather have been shot than suffer the nightmares and the horrors and the anxiety and the night sweats and the depression that they suffer from. Because wounds do heal, but the invisible wounds are not so easy to overcome. And the dog just helps them do that. So they're there on the dark and rainy nights, and when the demons come to them in their sleep, and they can latch out and hold on to their dog. And the dogs have woken up all of my warriors out of nightmares and licked their faces and brought them back to reality so that they stepped out of the minefields and stepped out of the horrors of the war. And they looked up and saw a goofy, smiley face looking at them. And suddenly they were back with us. And that's what the program's all about.
Shari, there are no words. It is just amazing. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hear more about K-9s for Warriors, the rescue dogs paying it forward to save these amazing lives.
Sit, stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
I'm Smiley the dog. I'm Super Smiley. Let's rock!
Introducing the new Bret Michaels Pets Rock collection exclusively at PetSmart. I created it for the pets that rock your world.
Shop the Bret Michaels Pets Rock collection and celebrate PetSmart's 25th anniversary with up to 25% off thousands of items on the PetSmart site. Plus free shipping on orders of $49 or more. Go to PetSmartDeal.com. That's PetSmartDeal.com. PetSmartDeal.com.
Love your pets but wish their medications were a lot less expensive? They are at 1-800-PET-MEDS. You'll not only save on flea and heartworm medications, but on prescriptions for arthritis, incontinence, thyroid, and more. And you get fast service, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, our licensed pharmacists ensure accuracy, monitor drug interaction, and more. See why over 5 million people have trusted their pet's health to 1-800-PET-MEDS, America's largest pet pharmacy. Call now or order online.
Go to 1-800-PetMeds.com/adventure, ADVENTURE, to get 10% off any order and free shipping on orders of $39 or more at PetMeds.com.
Hi, this is Marcy Davis and my service dog Whistle, and we're your hosts of Working Like Dogs on Pet Life Radio. Working Like Dogs is the show where you can learn everything you ever wanted to know about working animals or working dogs. Whether you're a member of a working dog team or you've just seen a working dog or animal out at the mall or the grocery store and you're curious about how these amazing animals work with their human partners, then Working Like Dogs is the show for you. Join us for the inside scoop at Working Like Dogs on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
And we're back on a Super Smiley adventure on Pet Life Radio with Shari Duval, founder and director of K-9s for Warriors. Shari, I don't know if I shared this with you, but my father was in World War II as a bird colonel in the Air Force. He was in Germany, France, and Normandy in the Battle of the Bulge, and these were the fronts that actually halted the Nazis. So as a child, I was taught to honor our troops and those who protect our country. And I know you can't break confidentialities, but can you talk about the dogs leading your warriors from where they were when they began your program to where they are when they leave? You've mentioned quite a few things, but what are some of the other things that you've seen your dogs accomplish?
Well, it's amazing, and the stories get better as time goes on. And I always tell the warriors that when they leave, they become our family. They're now part of the K-9 graduate program, and it's a very tight-knit program. We all keep in contact with each other pretty much on a daily or weekly basis. But, for example, I got a call last night for another little Marine that lives in Mississippi, and they all call me Mom. And he says, Mom, guess what? And I said, what, Zach? Tell me what's going on. I got a job. And I said, you did? And he said, yes. He said, I'm going to be the manager in the fishing department at Gander Mountain, and they're sending me back to school. Now, this is a young man that wouldn't have ventured out of the house. And now he's so excited to be going back to school, back to work. And I have no doubt that he will end up running that department one day. And you watch, one day you will see Gander Mountain and my Marine with his dog, Major, and they will make national news because that's how amazing this pair is. And that story is duplicated over and over and over with these warriors. We keep an open door policy. They're always welcome. We always say, you come home anytime. We'll always have a bed for you or a place, a dog bowl for you. And they come back. I mean, I always say, now, can I get rid of you? And they go, oh, no, Mom, we're coming home.
You got it.
And we keep them in groups, too. 3, we're actually going to be expanding to 4 and 5 now and have hired another trainer. But part of the success of the program is they live together, sleep in the same house, they eat together, they share their meals and their training together. And that's what the military is all about, that buddy system. So they're very used to that type of environment. And we try to keep that not in the military style, but in the manner, it's a very informal. We don't have the typical classrooms. Our classrooms are done in Home Depot and Target, and where we take the dogs for their training. So those are our homeroom classes, and they go out every day, places they would never have gone. Haven't been to a store in a year. And they go in a group, so they feel safe.
We just take these things for granted, right?
That's exactly right. And then as the weeks go on, then we take them one at a time, so they get used to being by themselves. And we do baby steps. And by the time they leave, they are functioning as independent citizens, something that we just take for granted. We hop in the car and we run to the store. They don't do that.
Right.
But with their dog, they're comfortable to go anywhere. They're proud to go anywhere.
Sherry, I think that when I was there that day, they were all loading up in a van and they were going to go swimming someplace. Is that possible? They were going to a pool. Do you remember that?
Yes, they were, Megan, and I do remember that. And we have a local little guy down the road that has what they call Dogtown USA. And he boards dogs, and they've got a really nice swimming pool for their dogs. And he has an open-door policy for my warriors and their dogs. So they go down there and they go swimming, and we take them fishing, and a lot of the local establishments have opened up their hearts to them. They get massages while they're here by Massage Envy, and they get treated to dinners. Chili's always gives them a free meal when they come in. And I mean, it's amazing how truly deep our citizens are in honoring our military. And they never get a chance to show it. But when they have the opportunity, their hearts just open up. And they literally fill our soldiers with love when they walk in the door.
And that shows that, well, we already know, Sherry, you are doing such an amazing thing that it is literally resonating. And anyone who hears what you're doing, like you just said, they want to reach out and they want to help. And I love that. And also what you were talking about, a personal belief I have is that I believe that animals teach on a different level than humans. Obviously, we need learned skills and we need to be able to use all of our information. But I've seen animals teach on an energetic level in a way that seems to reach the human student with a purer message than what humans can even sometimes deliver. I'm sure you have thoughts on that.
Oh, well, I've noticed that a lot of times the warrior does not want to talk to people. He doesn't have to because his dog's doing the talking for him. The people walk up and say, oh, what a beautiful dog, and may I pet them, which, by the way, anybody that encounters a service dog, it's not permissible to touch the dog while they're working. If you do ask permission, it's up to that disabled person to say yes or no. But assuming they say yes, then the dog just wiggles and giggles and makes such goofy smiles and puts his paw out and does his little, tricks. And suddenly the warrior hasn't had to say a word. And the dog has done his communication for him.
I love that. I love that. Sherry, what have the dogs taught you personally? What have you learned from them?
Wow. I've always been a huge animal lover like you, Megan. And I just see it's amazing. And some dogs more than others, they can see into your soul, and there's nobody can tell me any differently. We've gone through 50 rescue dogs now, and they can see right into your soul, and you can't lie to them. You can't tell them an untruth. They know. They can tell when you're lonely. They can tell when you're happy or sad. They can sense everything about you. I mean, certain dogs have been known to sense illnesses, and that is a medical fact. So we're very blessed to not only have our warriors, but to have the most incredible dogs come through our program. I wish I could take them all. That's the hard part.
Right. They are very blessed, and you are very blessed for just being surrounded by all of this, by being given this mission. And I was working with a prison program one time where the inmates trained dogs for adoption. And I remember I asked one of them what his dog had taught him. And he said that he had been in prison repeatedly and he never got it. He never understood this, that he has to earn the respect of the dog. The dog taught him this. So when he's released this time, he said he will know that he has to earn the respect of others, and then he won't come back to prison. That was amazing to me. Is there something unique like that one of the dogs showed your warriors that you would have never thought of? I would have never thought that this man would have learned that from that dog.
Well, that is a very good analogy, and I can see where that would have happened a lot. I think what our dogs teach our warriors is how to have emotions again, to cry, to laugh, to share, to open up. I say it's always like they come in as a very firm onion, and slowly the layers of the onion just peel back until you have the fragrance so nicely that the dogs bring that out in them. And it's not us. We don't do that. It's their dogs.
Right.
And it's amazing to watch the transformation in each and every one of them.
Right.
Without exception.
And you've mentioned some of your warriors, the Marine you told us about. When I was there, the warriors there were women. So you also have women coming through. Tell us about that.
Well, we do. We try to offer 4 classes a year for our female veterans. And we obviously do the females separate from the males for obvious reasons, and they are incredible. But we do different things with them. I mean, we do arts and crafts. They took art projects. They learned how to do painting projects. They went and got their hair and their nails done and different things like that. But actually, the females are far more. They're far more emotional. However, they're far more fragile. As much as they've seen battle and can handle it on the battlefield, they seem to be more vulnerable when they come home. And that's particularly because they have a bigger role to fill when they come home. They have to come back to a home and to children and to a family, and they're expected to be the strong person that they were in the Army or the Marines. And yet they're very susceptible to, panic, anxiety, depression. So they're more vulnerable to it. And the dogs have had an amazing effect. All of my girls have gone back to work and to school after their graduation, which they would not have done before.
Shari,
100% success stories, which is amazing.
It is truly amazing. And as far as your program, I imagine this is quite expensive to house warriors, train dogs, bring in specialists. How do you get funding? How can we support your amazing mission?
Well, just having us on today, Megan, is a huge thank you. We do not accept any government funding. It's all private funding. Each dog, which we are well below the national average, is costing us $10,000 a dog. We have a small, humble staff. I myself work and do not take a salary. 87% of our money goes back into our programs. We're listed on GuideStar, and anyone can go to our website, which is K-9s4warriors.org, and they can learn more about us there. We're also on Facebook under K-9s for Warriors.
It's a K-9s, F-O-R, then warriors.org. Want to make sure everybody can find it, because really I encourage everyone to visit this website because there are pictures, there are videos. Shari and I are doing our very best to describe it to you, but it is really undescribable. It's quite amazing. And Shari, I was so thrilled that you invited me to visit the K-9s for Warriors, your training facility. And we're so honored and proud to have you on our show today. If there's ever anything that we can do for you, or if there's something you'd like to share on Pet Life Radio, again, we are always here for you.
Well, thank you, Megan, and we truly enjoyed your visit. Your smile and your personality is so infectious that it was such a delight to have you come and actually take your time to come see what we do, because a story does tell 1,000 words, and actually visiting our facility explains so much more what we're attempting to do. And we're not a mega charity. We don't ever intend to be. We just want to do one warrior at a time, one dog at a time, and do it successfully. And by the grace of God, we've been able to do that so far.
I love that. You help one warrior, you've created a universe. You save one dog, you've saved a universe. And that's exactly what you're saying. It's every single one is a miracle. And Shari, I have some exciting news. Smiley has some exciting news today that we'd love to share. Smiley's documentary, which is called Super Smiley Flash Mob, a documentary, which is co-presented by Pet Life Radio, it just won a spot in the competition of the world's first traveling film festival, the Film Festival Flick. So we're really excited about that. It's going to be
that's great news.
Yeah, thank you, Shari. It's going to be screening in the LA area September 5th and 6th. And everybody can see details about that at smileythedog.com and on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Megan Blake. And Pet Life Radio is going to have it in their next newsletter and updates as well. So congratulations to Super Smiley on spreading the word about pet adoption. And Shari, I really don't think your warriors are up to do a flash mob, but next time we're in Florida, maybe we can brainstorm putting something together as a fundraiser or something like that. I don't know, but it's just a fun, happy thing. And I think our spirits are on the same wavelength, and I think it'd be a really fun thing to do.
Well, we'd look forward to it, Megan, and I know that if the warriors are not up to it, I have a lot of dogs that are.
That's perfect. And the warriors are always invited. They're always invited. Any parting thoughts before we go, Shari?
Well, I would just ask everybody to please remember the men and the women that are fighting for us every day. We go about our normal lives, and we don't often think about them enough. But it's because of their efforts that we're even able to have this conversation today and live in a country that's free to do as we please, governed under a constitution. So we need to applaud and respect their sacrifices that they've made for us.
Very well said, Shari, and thank you for all that you are doing for them. Shari Duval of K-9s for Warriors, and again, the website is K9sforwarriors.org. And Shari, we wish you the best of luck with your mission. You truly make the world a better place, and we are proud to have had you on a Super Smiley adventure.
Thank you, Megan, so much for calling. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you, and from all of us on Pet Life Radio, woof and super smiles.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.